Okay, so good day everyone. So I am going to discuss naman today is the technical report writing, which is the investigative report writing. So sa regular na class, this is the TRW1. So kasama sa pag-aaralan dito sa TRW is yung tinatawag nating basic part of speech. So what are those? Meron tayong tinatawag na noun, pronouns, verb, adjective, adverb, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. So, what is noun? So, nouns are words that represents a person, place, things, or idea. So, ito yung mga pangalan na ginagamit natin sa tao, sa lugar, sa mga bagay, at ideas or feelings. So, there are types of nouns. Number one is the common noun. So, common nouns are general names of people, place, or things. Example, dog, city, or cars. So, common nouns, usually, nagsistart siya sa small letters. So, ito yung mga general names na tinatawag natin sa isang tao, pwede din namang sa bagay, sa mga hayop. Katulad nun, kapag generalize natin, lahat ng aso, 'di ba? Dog ang tawag natin. And then, kapag generalize na pangalan sa mga lugar, pwedeng city, pwedeng barangays, yun. So, kapag naman proper nouns, ito naman yung mga specific names of people, place, or things. So, ito naman yung mga specific na pangalan or yung pinakatawag natin sa mga bagay or kaya naman sa mga tao. Example, John, Paris, and Ford. So, yung mga proper nouns, ito naman ay mga nagsisimula lagi sa capital letters. And then, meron din tayong tinatawag na abstract nouns. So, abstract nouns are names of concept or ideas. So, ito naman yung mga pangalan na pinapangalan natin sa mga feelings katulad ng joy, happiness, love, freedom. So, yan yung mga example ng abstract noun. And then, concrete nouns. Concrete, ibig sabihin na nahahawakan. So, these are the things that can be perceived with the senses or nape-perceive or nakikita. Ayan, nahahawakan. So, ito yung mga tinatawag nating concrete noun. Example is book, apple, house. So, yan yung mga example ng concrete noun. Tables, chairs. So, yan. And then, example sentence, the cat chased the ball. So, the cat, it is a common noun. So, generalized na pangalan natin sa lahat ng pusa. And then, chase the ball. So, ball can be common nouns din, 'di ba, ball. So tawag natin sa isang bagay. And then meron din tayong tinatawag na pronouns. So pronouns is words that takes the place of a noun to avoid repetition. So yung pronouns naman, ito yung tinatawag nating panghalili sa pangalan. Kasi sa sentence, 'di ba, kapag paulit-ulit natin na binabanggit yung pangalan ng isang ng subject, nakakaumay siyang pakinggan. Say for example, Patrolman Reyes was recognized as the best police officer of the year 2026. Patrolman Reyes is known as a person who is dedicated to his work. Patrolman Reyes is the best in his unit. So, 'di ba, yung paulit-ulit na pagbabanggit sa pangalan ni Patrolman Reyes is nakakaumay. Nakakaumay siya sa pandinig. So, para ma-avoid 'yon, gagamit tayo ngayon ng mga pronouns. So, there are different types ng pronouns. So, number one is the personal pronoun. So, represent specific people or things. Example, he, she, and they. So, yun yung mga example ng personal pronouns. Possessive pronouns indicate ownership or yung pag-aako mo sa isang bagay. So, for example, my, your, and theirs. And then, demonstrative pronouns naman are points to specific things or yung pagtuturo natin or kapag ginagamit natin siya sa sentence, no? Tapos, itinuturo natin yung isang bagay. Ito yung mga ginagamit natin. Example is this, that, these, and those. And then, interrogative pronouns naman used to ask question. Diba, kapag meron tayong mga merong nahuli ng mga kriminal. So, 'di ba, ano ginagawa sa kanila, ini-interrogate. So, interrogation is also known as asking questions. So, interrogate pronouns, example naman ito is yung 5 W's and 1 H natin dyan, pasok yan. So, who, what, which, where, when, how. So, kasama siya sa interrogate pronouns. And then, reflexive pronouns naman refers back to the subject of the sentence. So, example is myself, yourself, and himself. So, it depends kung paano mo siya gagamitin or ano yung appropriate na gamiting pronoun sa isang sentence. So, next is the verb. So, verb naman. Sorry. So, the verb are words that express actions or being. So, ito naman yung sa isang sentence, ito yung nagsasaad ng kilos. So, types of verbs, meron tayong tinatawag na action verbs. So, action verb shows physical or mental action. Example, run, think, jump, walking, speaking. So, yan yung mga example ng action verb. And then, linking verb naman used to connect the subject to a subject component. So, ito naman yung ginagamit natin para makonect yung subject to its predicate. So, example niyan, am, is, are, and was. Auxiliary verb naman or helping verb used when a main verb to form different tenses or moods. So, example, have, do, will, and can. So, sa auxiliary verb, dito naman ay indicate kung ano yung kung kailan ba isinaad yung kilos. So, example, the teacher teaches the class. So, dito sa example na sentence na to, teaches is the action verb. So, next is the adjective. So, adjectives is a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun given more information about it. So, dito naman, ang minomodify naman dito is yung noun or mas nilalarawan niya kung ano yung noun or kaya naman yung pronoun. So, there are types of adjective. Number 1 is the descriptive adjective. So, descriptive describes qualities or characteristics. So, dito, dinedescribe mo kung ano yung itsura ng subject or yung noun. Example is beautiful, tall, and quick. So, quantitative adjective naman, it indicates quantity or kung gaano karami yung isang bagay. So, for example, some, many, few. So, yan naman yung example ng quantitative adjectives. And then, demonstrative adjectives are point to a specific noun. So, katulad kanina, nabanggit natin sa may pronouns, yung these, that, those, and these. And then, possessive adjective indicates possession, my, yours, and theirs. And then, example, she wore a blue dress. So, dito sa sentence na to, ang nilalarawan ay yung noun na dress. So, ano daw ba yung dress? Color, blue. So, yun yung paggamit ng adjectives. And next is adverb. So, adverbs is a word that modifies verbs or adjective or another adverb, typically answering questions like how, when, where, or what, to what extent. So, there are types of adverbs. So, kanina kung sinasabi natin adjective ay ang minomodify niya or ang nilalarawan niya is yung noun or kaya naman yung pronoun. Dito naman sa adverb, ito naman ay mas naglalarawan sa mga action words. So, example, adverb of manner, it describes how an action is performed. So, paano daw ba ginawa yung kilos? Quickly, easily, or well. And then, adverb of time describes when an action occurs. So, kung kailan daw ba naganap yung kilos. Kung now ba, later, or soon. And then, adverb of place describe where an action occurs. Saan daw ba nangyari yung kilos. Then, example nito, here, there, everywhere. Adverb of degree describe the intensity or extent of the actions. So, example naman ito is very, quite, and almost. Example, she sings beautifully. So, the adverb is beautifully, which is dinidescribe niya or minomodify niya yung action word na sings. So, yan yung tinatawag nating adverb. And medyo nawawala. Lumalabo. So, next is the preposition. So, preposition is a word that shows the relationship between noun or pronoun and another word in the sentence, often indicating direction, time, place, or method. So, there are types din. Common prepositions na ginagamit is in, on, at, by, with, under, over, and between, and among. So, example is, the book is on the table. So, yung word na on, that is the preposition. So, preposition on shows the relationship between book and the table. So, ginagamit kasi natin yung word na on kapag sa isang sentence, kapag dinidescribe natin na yung isang bagay is on the surface or nakapatong siya sa isang bagay. So, example nga niyan, the book is on the table. So, you know that the book is nasa ibabaw ng table. So, yun yung mga yung example ng preposition. And next is conjunction. So, conjunction is word that connects words, phrase, clauses, or sentence. So, isang sentence, ito yung ginagamit natin to connect the clause, the phrase, or yung pinaka-sentence. So, type of conjunction, coordinating conjunction, it joins equal elements. So, example ito is and, but, or, nor, for, so, and, yet. And then, subordinating conjunctions naman are connect a dependent clause to an independent clause. So, kapag sinabi natin dependent clause, these are the sentences na kayang mag-stand alone. While independent clause naman, ito yung mga sentences or phrases or clause na hindi kayang mag-stand alone. So, yung ginagamitan na example nito is because, although, if, and when. And then, correlative conjunction naman is a work in pairs. So, ito yung mga conjunction na hindi natin pwedeng paghiwalayan. So, example niyan, either or, neither nor, so that. So, yun yung mga example nun. So, example sentence, I wanted to go, but I was too tired. So, the word but is the conjunction. So, next is the interjection. So, interjection is a word or phrase that expresses a strong feelings or emotion. It is usually followed by exclamation mark. So, ito naman yung mga sa sentence, no, yung nagpapakita ng excessive na emotions. So, usually, ginagamitan nga siya ng, or madalas, ginagamitan siya ng exclamation point. So, example, wow, ouch, hey, oh, alas, and hurry. So, syempre, depende yan sa may sentence na gagamitin, no? And then, example, wow, that was an amazing performance. So, di ba, nagpapakita siya ng excitement or surprise. So, interjection, wow, expresses surprise. Next is yung homonyms, synonyms, and antonyms. So, homonyms are words that share the same spelling or pronunciation but have different meaning. So, ito yung mga words na magkamukha sila ng spelling pero it depends kung sa sentence kung ano yung gamit niya. And then synonyms naman are words that have the same or similar meaning. So usually ito yung ginagamit natin kapag magpa-paraphrase tayo sa isang sentence. Hinahanap natin yung synonyms or yung word na katumbas ng isang specific word. And then antonyms naman are words that have opposite meaning. So ito naman yung kabaliktaran. So let us first discuss what is homonyms. So homonyms, types of homonyms is homographs. These words that have the same spelling but different meaning and sometimes different pronunciation. So for example, nyan lead, pwedeng ang meaning is to guide and another is lead or a type of metal. Example, the wind blew strongly but I like to wind up my clock every night. So, wind na yung sa may first na clause, wind means moving air or yung hangin. And versus wind naman, or wind rather, so wind to twist or turn. So, yung iniikot yung sa may alarm clock. So, yun na may ibig sabihin nun. Next is homophones. So, homophones, these words sounds the same but have different meanings and spelling. So, for example, bear versus bear, right versus right. So, example, I can't bear the cold. So, I want to bear a heavy clothes. So, bare means without covering or parang pwede ding ini-endure. So, parang ganun. And then, versus bare na animals. So, example niyan. Next is synonyms. Synonyms of big, big and large have the both um, meaning of great size. And then happy and joyful both means feeling or showing pleasure. Fast and quick both means moving at a high speed. And then example sentence, she is happy with her gift. She is joyful with her gift. So pareho lang siya. And then the dog is fast, the dog is quick. Note that even though synonyms have a similar meanings, they may not always be completely used interchangeably. Some words are better suited to specific contexts, which gives them slightly different connotation. So, hindi porket nakakita tayo ng synonyms sa dictionary, suitable na siya na gamitin for a sentence. So, you have to see to it na yung word na ginagamit mo is appropriate siya doon sa may sentence na binubuo mo. So, next is antonyms. Antonyms, example, hot and cold. Opposite is temperature. Up and down, opposite in direction. Happy and sad, opposite in emotional state. So, antonyms, yung opposite ng isang word. Example, the weather is hot today or the weather is cold today. She felt happy when she received good news. She felt sad when she received the bad news. So, katulad din ng synonyms, no? Sa antonyms, hindi din porket nakita mo na yun yung antonyms niya is suitable na siya para gamitin sa isang sentence. So, ano din siya? It's a case-to-case basis. So, for example, yung big and small are opposite. But huge and tiny might express the extremes of the same concept. So, kapag ginamit mo yung word na huge and tiny, mas nag-e-emphasize siya ng extremely malaking bagay or kapag naman tiny, extremely maliit na bagay. So, yun yung example nun. Next is report. So, what is report? Nasa report na tayo. Is an objective statement of the findings of the investigator. So, ito daw yung mga collections, no, ng mga findings ng investigator during the investigation process. An official record of the information that is relevant to the investigation. So, nagiging official record siya. 'Di ba nga, ang report ay nandun lang siya sa station. So, ginagamit siya as reference din kung sakaling magkaroon ng mga same cases regarding doon sa may incident. It could make or unmake the career of the investigator or any law enforcement since recognition and promotions are mostly based on the quick quality of the report. So, yung paggawa daw ng report is it can make or unmake the career of the investigator. Ibig sabihin, makakatulong to para maging gumanda yung kanyang karera as an officer, or pwede din namang dahil nga hindi siya marunong gumawa ng report, magiging problema niya yun. So, it can be a basis daw kasi for promotion. So, dito tinitingnan, worthy ba ang isang tao para ma-promote? So, ang pinagbabasihan yan is yung kanyang performance. And then, the personality of the report writer can be reflected on the kind of the report he or she writes. Good impression, credibility, and competence. So, dun sa may report na ginagawa mo, dun din nakikita kung anong klase ng character ang meron ka. So, nagre-reflect yung ginagawa mong report. So, meron kasi tayong mga different types ng report writer. So, doon nakikita kung ang writer ba is tamad, yung writer ba ay multitasker, or ang writer ba ay masipag or very careful sa paggawa ng kanyang report. So, later, madidiscuss natin yung types of report writer na yun. And next is police report. Ano naman daw ang police report? Is a chronological or step-by-step account of an incident that transpired in a given time at a given place. So, ito daw yung pagkukwento sa pagkakasunod-sunod ng pangyayari sa isang insidente. And it is also defined as the account of an investigator of an official statement of facts. So, ito daw yung mga statements or yung investigation na nakuha ng isang investigator during the time na nag-i-investigate siya ng kaso. And then police reports result from the fact that someone has asked for them and needs them for immediate or future use. It is also any events, police reporting has become one of the most significant process in modern police operations. So, ang police report ay part na ng buhay ng isang police, ng law enforcer. So, lahat kasi ng ginagawa nila in a day-to-day basis, ginagawa nila ng report. So, what is record naman? So, record also defined as an information being kept by the organization for future references. So, yung mga reports na to, yung ginagawa ng mga law enforcers, ay ini-store sa stations, and then, sinesafekeep nila dun yun kasi pwede siya magamit as a record for a similar incident. So, ano ba yung example ng record? So, it can be in a form of text, data, images, or voices. So, di ba kapag, kunyari, may nag-commit ng crime, ganyan, may nakitang CCTV, ayan. So, kinukuha yung mga videos na yun as record. And then, it can be presented sa may korte. So, ganun din sa may mga documents, di ba? It composed of text, yan, mga datas, lalo na kung ang cases na ginagawa or iniimbestigahan is related to kunyari fraud, ganyan. So, kailangan ng mga datas. And then, writing. What is writing? Writing is a skill that every police officer should master for efficient expressions of ideas. So, kailangan daw ang mga police officer ay marunong magsulat. And then, similarly, the skills is needed in all types of profession and job, especially because communication is a vital component of any endeavor. So, hindi lang naman sa larangan ng law enforcement gumagawa ng report or sumusulat ng report. Actually, lahat ng professions, yan, required tayo na gumawa ng report. Sa academe, 'di ba, kahit kayo kapag meron kayong mga activities sa inyong mga subjects, pinagagawan din kayo ng report. Sa OJT nyo, meron din kayong report na gagawin. So, written report nyo yun. So, yun yung mga so, lahat ng profession ay gumagawa or nagsusulat ng report. So, why master report writing in police work? Bakit daw ba mahalaga ang pagmamaster ng report? So, it is imperative that they master writing to come up with an effective police report, which is also considered as the lifeblood of the police work. So, ang report pala ay kinukonsider na lifeblood of a police work. So, bakit? Dahil nga po, araw-araw gumagawa sila ng report. And then, part na yon ng kanilang buhay as a police officer. So, remember that good technical writing does not come naturally. It is an end product of a careful practice. It is obvious that a technical writer must have something substantial to say. So, ang pagiging mahusay sa pagre-report ay hindi lang yan natututunan overnight. So, dahil sa experience or paulit-ulit mo na paggagawa ng report, nalilinang or na-enhance yung skills mo sa pagsusulat. So, syempre wala namang magaling agad na magsulat sa unang try pa lang, 'di ba? So, sabi nga sa isang quote or kasabihan, 'di ba? Experience is the best teacher. Kasi habang inuulit-ulit mo siya, habang ginagawa mo siya ng paulit-ulit, mas natututo ka. Nalalaman mo kung ano yung mga dapat i-enhance sa mga skills mo, ano pa yung mga dapat improve sa pagsusulat mo. So, kung meron kang napapansin nung unang sulat mo na medyo kailangan ng i-improve, sa mga susunod na work na gagawin mo, mas i-improve mo na siya. So, later on, mamamasters mo din yung paggawa ng isang report. So, next, what is the purpose of police report? So, number 1 is written report to serve as the raw materials from which record systems are made. So, bakit siya tinawag na raw materials? Kasi, kumbaga, yung mga nakukuha mo during the investigation, hindi pa naman siya agad makakapagbuo ng mismong conclusion eh. So, kumukuha ka ng mga iba't ibang ebidensya and then you will combine it para makakuha ka ng solid na conclusion. So, kaya tinatawag siyang raw materials. And then, police report is revealed as a part of the component of the record system. The direct relationship between the efficiency of the department and the quality of its report and reporting procedures. Number 3, written report to guide a police administrator for policy formulation and dissemination decision making. So ginagamit daw ang police report para makita ng administrator ano ba yung mga dapat niyang ayusin na policy sa kanyang sinasakupan. Written report to serve as a gauge or yardstick for efficient evaluations of police officer. So, 'di ba nga kapag meron kunyari nag-report na yung police officer hindi siya meron siyang ginagawang hindi maganda. So, nagiging basis siya para magkaroon ng disiplina or disiplinahin yung mga police officer. And then written report to guide prosecutors and court in the trial of criminal cases investigation by the police. So ginagamit daw siya sa court proceedings kasi 'di ba yung lahat ng report na yan kapag merong kaso kailangan i-present yan lahat sa korte. So nagiging basis siya sa court proceedings. So next, what are the types of report writers? So ito yung binanggit ko kanina. So there are 3. The number 1 is the writer who writes without thinking. So this writer is considered as the one who is tamad, no? Wala siyang sabi dito are those who do not bother gathering facts and information to support the written report. They are those who are not keen in observing and gathering facts to supplement the written output. These are also the writers who are not conscious of their grammar's error and do not intend to correct what is grammatically wrong. They are lazy and careless in gathering specific information. As a whole, they are concerned whether their readers will understand the written report or not. So, ito yung mga writers na balagbag. O kahit ano na lang yung magawa nila, basta may maipasa. Yun na yung gagawin nila. So, ito din yung mga writers na hindi sila nag-gather ng facts, no? Parang naghihintay na lang ng bayabas na malalaglag sa kanilang mga bibig. Parang ganun. So, ito yung mga writers na tamad talaga na hindi sila nag-i-exceed ng efforts para mapaganda yung report nila. And wala silang pakialam kung maiintindihan ba ng mga readers yung kanilang mga sinusulat. So, another one is the writer who writes and think at the same time. So, ito yung tinatawag ko naman na multitasker. So, these are the writers who gather information and facts and put them into writing. In addition, they review and verify their works, but they are in hurry to write. Therefore, the gathered information are not properly documented. This kind of writers are also partially conscious of the grammatical of their grammars. Within written output and submit their reports with average accuracy. So, ito naman yung mga writers na tinatawag ko nga sila na multitasker. Kasi habang nag-gather sila ng information, sinusulat na din nila agad yung report nila. And siguro mostly, no, merong mga ganito kasi sa sobrang dami ba naman ng trabaho ng mga police officer, then syempre nagkakabangga-bangga na yung kanilang mga trabaho. So sometimes siguro ganito yung nagiging nila, ganito yung nangyayari sa kanila. They have to write agad. They have to think and write at the same time. And next is the writers who think first and write afterwards. So these are the writers naman na kung tawagin ko ay mga perfectionists. Kasi these are the writers who gather specific data, facts, and evidences carefully before they write. And they are very keen in observing and gathering information to back up their reports. They are also very conscious of their grammar and goes on correct themselves to improve their written output because they are diligent in collecting facts. Their reports are accurate, complete, fair, and concise, and specific. So, nandun sa report nila yung tinatawag na characteristic ng isang report. So, these writers are concerned with the conciseness of their report with a purpose in mind that their readers will be able to understand everything they have presented. Lastly, these are the writers who present reports that are free from biases, prejudice, subjectivity, and errors in any form, and thus they submit reports with 100% accuracy. So, ito yung mga writers naman na very intricate. They are very detailed. So, walang nakakalagpas na mga information sa kanila. They make sure na yung report nila ay maayos yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng pangyayari, hindi mali-mali yung mga grammar. So, these are the perfectionists na mga report. So, these are just a bare minimum sa trabaho. So, kapag ikaw nagtatrabaho ka, ibigay mo na yung lahat-lahat mo. So, this is the ideal writer. Yan. So, yan yung types na, or 3 types of report writer. Next is type of police report. So, ano ba yung mga types ng police report? Number 1 is the informal report. So, dalawa lang to, informal and formal. So, informal report usually is a letter or memorandum or many prescribed or used in a day-to-day police operation. It customer carries 3 items beside the text proper: the date submitted, subject, and persons or persons to whom it is submitted. It may, however, contains many items of administrative informations along with the subject matter of the text. Actually, most police report may be placed in this category. So, example nito is yung progress report, status report, and incident report. So, these are the reports na usual na ginagawa araw-araw. So, kapag may nangyaring incident, ayan, gagawa ng report. So, these are the informal reports. So, yung mga nakakategorize dun, yung mga spot report nga, yung mga progress report, investigation report, pasok siya dun sa tinatawag nating informal report. While formal report naman suggests the address treatment including cover, title page, letter of transmittal, summary sheet, text appendices, and perhaps an index and bibliography. So, example nito is business report, academic report, and government report. So, sa inyo, dahil nasa academe tayo, no, and kayo gumagawa kayo ng thesis, yung thesis na, or yung research nyo, yun ay tinatawag na formal report. So, 'di ba, ang research nyo, meron siyang cover page, meron siyang title page, meron siyang summary sheet, meron siyang texts and appendices. So, bibliography nyo nandun din. So, yung research nyo is categorized siya as formal report. So, technical report naman, technical report is comes from the word Greek word techni, that means skills. Technical report is a story of action performed by men. It is a chronological or step-by-step account of an incident that transpired in a given time, date, and place. So, yun yung tinatawag na technical. Tinawag siyang technical kasi it varies, no? Kung anong unit ka, kung saan ka nagtatrabaho. Kasi, hindi naman sila pare-pareho. Although, lahat gumagawa ng report, pero yung templates nun, yung format, yan, iba-iba yun. And then, depende din kung ano yung gagawin mo na report. So, what are the types of technical report? So, yung tinatawag nating spot report. Spot report refers to an immediate initial investigative or incident report addressed to higher headquarters pertaining to the commission of the crime, occurrence of natural, man-made disaster, unusual incident involving loss of lives and damage to property. So, kapag ang isang incident ay urgent or kailangan na mabigyan ng pansin, yun yung tinatawag nating spot report. Lalo na kung involved siya ng loss of lives or kaya mga damage to property. So, yun yung mga ginagawan ng spot report. So, next is special report. So, this is a written by a police unit or police based on the directive or instruction from the higher police officer. This report should contain the rationale and the action. The rationale is the specifications and details related to the problem and the action is the expected actions or response the receiver or reader will do after reading the report. So, ito namang special report, parang ito yung pag-a-assign sa'yo ng isang special task. So, yan, special report. Kumbaga, inutusan ka ng head mo na nagawin yung isang report. Kasi, it requires special, kumbaga parang sa, tawag dito, yung undercover, ganun. So, ito yung mga special na incident na kailangan bigyang pansin and ina-assign siya ng head ng higher police officer doon sa pinagkakatiwalaan niyang tao doon sa isang unit. So, next is yung progress report. So, this is a written narration of facts developed by the investigator in the course of the follow-up investigation. So, this is a report on subsequent details which are very vital to the case, but have not been incorporated in the initial report. So, this report shall be submitted within 3 days after the initial report has been submitted, and consequently, a monthly report thereafter. So, dito naman sa may progress report, kasi kapag nagkaroon ng initial report, hindi naman doon natatapos ang lahat. So, syempre, kung kunyari, meron nag-report doon, may naghahanap ng hinahanap yung nakakommit ng crime. So, syempre, hindi naman agad makikita yun, diba? Magkakaroon pa yan ng, kunyari, nagtago. Ano yung update doon sa my report? So, yung tinatawag na progress report. Typically, ina-update mo, ano na ba yung latest? Ano na ba yung yung mga ebidensya na natagbuan ng isang investigator sa course of investigation. So, progress. Ano na yung progress ng kaso na to? So, parang ganon. Next is the investigation report. So, investigation report, written to investigate a particular case or crime. This is an internal form of communication that requires the addressee, the officers on a case, and the chief investigator section. The addressee of the investigation report is the chief or head of the police unit. The officer on case will write and sign the report, and it will be noted by the chief investigator section. An investigation report is an important in court proceeding. The prosecution office can use this minor offense and more determining whether the accused is guilty or innocent. So, investigation report, dito naman nakalagay yung mga ano ba yung mga naimbestigahan ng isang police officer. So, dito nakikita ano yung kaso, ano yung mga ebidensya na nakita, yung mga evidence na presented, ano yung mga nasabi ng mga witnesses. So, dyan siya nakikita. Next is beat inspection or report. Beat inspection report or after patrol report. So, this one of the widely practiced written reports of communication in a station. This is a routine report because the duty beat supervisor submit this report daily. Those assigned on beat inspection do their routine check on foot, while the patrol sectors use patrol cars. This beat inspection and after patrol reports use the memorandum format. So, beat inspection report, 'di ba, everyday yung mga law enforcer natin ay nagpapatrol. So, after nila magpatrol, gagawa sila ng report. Ano ba yung mga nakita nila? Ano ba yung mga napansin nila during the time na nagpapatrol sila. So, dito yung nakalagay sa may beat inspection and after patrol report. So, this is submitted daily dahil nga araw-araw nagpapatrolya yung mga police officer. So, next is SITREP or yung tinatawag na situation report. So, this situation report is similar to patrol report. Both are submitted every 8 hours. However, while the patrol report is done on a regular basis, the SITREP is done on a need-only basis. So, yung situation report daw, pinapasa lang siya kapag kinakailangan. A situation report or SITREP is the context of the Philippine National Police and is a formal, concise, and standardized report that provides a snapshot of ongoing incident, operations, or security situation. It is used to communication crucial information about current events, status updates, or potential threat to superiors and other relevant authorities, ensuring that they are informed and able to make appropriate decision based on the situation at hand. So, kapag kinakailangan lang, saka lang tayo gumagawa ng situation report. So, kapag nga daw yung mga incident, katulad ng, kunyari, merong threat dun sa may, sa mayor, o kaya naman dun sa may head ng police station. So, yan, ginagawan siya ng situation report para daw mabigyan agad ng solusyon. So, yan. Next is yung formal report. So, kanina na-discuss ko na yung formal report nga. It's like yung research na ginagawa nyo. So, meron siyang title page, meron siyang letterhead, meron siyang mga summary sheets, bibliography. So, yan yung formal report. Next is report as to purpose. So, number one is the performance report. So, this contains information as the status of the activities, operation programs, projects, and activities of a law enforcement agency. So, kung ano yung mga activities na meron sila, ano yung mga operation na meron sila, ano yung mga performance or ano yung mga action taken nila. So, yun yung mga yung one of the purpose ng police report. Tinitingnan ko ano yung nagiging performance ng mga law enforcers. Another is fact-finding report. So, dito naman, this involves the gathering and presentation of data in logical order without attempt to draw conclusion. So, fact-finding, ibig sabihin, nag-gather ng information, no, na pasok dito yung tinatawag nating investigation report. So, 'di ba sa investigation, nangangalap sila doon ng mga ebidensya, ng mga informations, ng mga statements. So, fact-finding, naghahanap sila ng mga information regarding dun sa kanilang report. Another is technical report. So, this present data on a specialized subject within the law enforcement agency, and the format may vary and depending on the nature of the law enforcement work of the agency. So, dito kaya tinawag siya, yung purpose niya is, it can vary or pwedeng mag-iba-iba kasi yung report. Depende sa kung anong unit ka. Kunyari, nasa patrol ka. So, ibang report yung gagawin mo. Ganun din sa, kunyari, naka-assign ka sa homicide division. So, ibang report din yung ginagawa nun. Kaya sinasabi na it is subjective or ito ay, it can vary from unit to divisions. So, yan. Next is problem determining report. So, dito naman, merong problema, no? Hinahanap mo yung cause. Bakit ba nangyari yung problema? So, this attempts to find out the cause underlying a problem or to find out whether or not a problem really exists. So, tinitignan mo kung talaga bang may nangyaring ganitong insidente. Yan. So, next is problem solution report. So, dito naman, meron ng problema. You know na merong problema, then hahanap ka naman ng solution. So, this analyzes the thought process that lies behind the solution of a particular problem. It may include all the elements found in the other types of the reports, including presentation of data, collection, discussion, and possible solutions to the problem, and an identification of the best solution. So, next is, ano ba yung kailangan nating tandaan kapag nagsusulat tayo ng isang report. So, kailangan, tignan daw natin yung language na ginagamit. So, kailangan kapag gumawa ka ng report, tignan mo sino ba yung audience, sino ba yung magbabasa. Kapag kunyari, ang client mo ay foreigner, so kailangan i-consider mo ano ba yung language na pwede mong gamitin kapag gumagawa ka ng report. So, most probably English yan. Kapag naman mga simpleng mamamayan, no, na hindi natin alam kung kaya ba nilang magbasa, ganyan. So, kailangan Tagalog yung gamitin sa kanila, lalo na kung lokal naman sila. And then, kapag kunyari nasa ibang lugar ka, ganyan. So, hindi naman lahat marunong mag-Tagalog. So, ano ba yung ano ba yung dialect na ginagamit nila, ano ba yung mga language or mother tongue na ginagamit nila. So, yun, kailangan nating i-consider ano ba yung language na ginagamit dun sa specific na lugar or ano yung mas naiintindihan nung mga tao na nandun. And then, use simple word. Huwag ka nang gumamit ng mga deep words or yung malalalim na word. Maging direct to the point ka daw. So, huwag ka na magpaligoy-ligoy sa pagre-report mo. Huwag mo nang ikwento kung ano yung nangyari sa'yo sa araw na yun bago i-report sa'yo yung insidente. Hindi naman na kailangan yun. So, kung ano lang yung mga importanteng details regarding dun sa may report, yun lang yung ilalagay mo. And then, use of specific words. So, parang ganun din, paggamit ng simple word, paggamit ng specific na word. So, what are the important uses of a report writing? So, number 1 is reports serve as a record for police administration in planning, directing, and organizing the unit's duty. So, ginagamit daw siya as record ng police administration. And then, reports can be used as a legal document in the prosecutions of criminals. So, ginagamit nga siya sa court proceedings. Reports are utilized by other agencies. So, ginagamit din daw yung mga reports ng ibang agency. So, di ba minsan, kapag kunyari, merong fire na nangyari. So, hindi lang naman yung fire ang mag-aasikaso nun. So, kailangan din siyang gawa ng report. And then, kung magkakaroon ng kasuhan, di ba, involved din naman dyan yung mga police officer. And then, reports can be useful to tri-media for publication, information, and purpose. So, di ba, kapag nanonood kayo ng mga balita, minsan yung mga report na ginagawa ng police officer ay pinapakita sa media para ma-inform yung public sa kung ano ba yung mga action taken na ginagawa nila, ano ba yung mga situations na hinahandle nila. And then report can be utilized for research purpose. So eto, very relate kayo dito, 'di ba? Nung anong tawag dito? Nung kumukuha kayo ng data sa police station, ayan. 'Di ba? It is used for research purpose. Tinatanong nyo, ano po ba yung pinaka mataas na crime rates dito sa Gapan? So, di ba binibigyan kayo ng ng papel, kung saan nakalagay doon, ano yung summary ng, kunyari, ano yung status ng isang incident or isang crime doon sa specific na area. Kunyari, ano yung pinakamataas na barangay na nakakaranas ng theft or kaya naman ng robbery. So, binibigay sa inyo yung pinaka-data. So, nagagamit siya for research purpose. And then, reports improve the personality of the writer. So, kanina nga, di ba, nabanggit natin na it is a careful practice or paulit-ulit na pagsusulat, no, nalilinang yung skills ng isang report writer. So, next is qualities of a good report. So, ano ba yan? Number 1 is clarity. Clarity refers to the clearness of thoughts, styles, and expressions of a writer. So, sa clarity, kailangan daw direct to the point. So, example, unclear. The pump boat capsized because it was overloaded. So, dito sa may unang sentence, no, kulang siya ng information. Bakit daw ba yung boat ay lumubog? Sinabi lang basta, ang boat ay lumubog. Wala man lang explanation. So, nagpapakita siya na it is unclear, no? Kulang siya sa information. So, to make it clear, the pump boat capsized because it was overloaded. Our rescuers confirms that the pump boat can only hold 5 people. The witness said that there were 10 people when it is capsized. So, dun sa may pangalawang sentence, no, pinakita niya na yung details or sinulat niya na yung details ng pangyayari. Next is accuracy. So, is the conformity to facts and representation of truth with precisions and exactness. It is also a specific report. So, kapag daw gumagawa tayo ng report, kailangan accuracy, accurate yung nilalagay natin doon. Hindi tayo pwedeng may kinikilingan, no? Hindi pwedeng meron tayong kino-cover up dun sa report natin. So, kailangan kung ano yung mga facts na meron, ano yung mga evidences na nakuha kailangan nakalagay yun lahat sa report. So, example, inaccurate, the child was hit by a speeding motorcycle. So, to make it accurate, the child was hit by a blue Honda Wave motorcycle, which is approximately traveling an estimated speed of 50 kph. So, ganyan dapat. Next is brevity. So, brevity omits the materials or information that is useless and irrelevant to the whole report. Avoid wordiness and redundancy. So, kapag gumagawa ng report, kailangan hindi siya ganun ka-worthy. Huwag kang gumamit ng masyadong malalalim na mga salita. Just be specific, no? Yung mga sinusulat mo dapat mabilis siyang maintindihan ng mga reader. So, worthy, the victim telephonically contacted the police station right after the incident happened. So, to make it concise, no, the victim called the police station after the incident. So, instead of using the word telephonically, you can just use the simple word of calling, ganyan, tumawag, ganun. So, para hindi siya masyadong mahirap. Hahanap ka pa ba ng dictionary para alamin mo kung ano yung word na telephonically. So, it is inappropriate. Kaya kailangan daw, no, meron kang brevity sa report mo. And then, completeness, these statements or report should be answered by the 5 W's and 1 H. So, kailangan daw nasasagot itong mga ito. And incomplete example is the missing boy was found. So, complete, the 5-year-old boy from Lapu-Lapu City who was missing for 7 days was found when wandering in AC Cortez Avenue by a couple from Mandaue City. So, kailangan daw nasasagot yung tinatawag nating 5 W's and 1 H. So, ano ba yung 5 W's and 1 H na yan? So, number 1 is yung who. So, it refers to a person, no? Who is the culprit, who are the victim, who is the aggrieved party, and who is the leader of the suspected group. So, kapag yung who, tumutukoy siya sa may mga taong involved sa isang insidente. What naman is sa what naman nagre-refers kung ano yung nangyari. So, dito naman hinahanap kung ano yung mga details sa pangyayari. So, for example, what law is violated, what did the suspect do to the victim, what was the reaction of the victim's family, what are the elements of the crimes, what kind of weapon were used in the crime. So, where naman nagre-refer sa lugar. So, where was the crime committed? Where did the crime take place? Where was the victim found? Where was the suspect during the crime? And where are the entry and the exit point of the crime scene? Next is when. So, when naman, nagre-refer sa kung kailan na-commit yung crime or anong date, ano yung time, ganyan. So, when was the exact time that the crime was committed? When did the crime happen? And when was the body of the victim recovered? Next is why. So, dito naman, nagpapakita ng reason or ano ba tawag dito? Yung intent kung bakit ba ginawa yung isang krimen. So, why did the suspect commit the crime? Why did the witness report the crime? What are the witness afraid to divulge? And information about the suspect. And then, how? Kung paano in-execute yung crime. So, how the offense or crime is committed and how did the police respond. So, ayan yung tinatawag nating 5 W's and 1 H. So, next is fairness. So, fairness always based on reports on the facts of facts, and if there are theories, this should be verified first and be consistent with the facts. So, fairness, kailangan wala kang kinikilingan, wala kang bias, wala kang pinapanigan sa may report mo. So, bias, if a fireman couldn't fireproof his own home, how can he save another man's house? So, unbiased, if a firefighter could fireproof his home, he can save another people's houses. So, next is specificity. A good writer must be precise and specific in writing his or her report and should avoid ideas that could mislead the reader. So, be specific kapag gumagawa ka ng report. So, kung ano yung mga informations na nakuha mo, yun lang. Huwag ka na magdagdag, huwag ka na masyadong maging poet dun sa sa paggawa mo ng report. So be specific lang. She died of stab wounds. So ano daw yung kulang kapag sinabi she died of stab wounds? So specific, she died with 5 stab wounds in her chest and another 5 stab wounds in her upper right or right rib cage. So kailangan detailed yung pagre-report. Next is incident report. So, ano ba ang incident report? So, incident report involves prominent personalities such as religious leaders or priests or imams or pastors, national and local government officials including barangay officials, foreign nationals as follows, mga diplomats, ambassadors, consuls, attaches, tourists and balikbayans, and then another personalities who's involved in the incident may result to controversies or publicly. So usually ito yung mga tinatawag nating artista. So yan daw, nagre-report tayo ng mga incident regarding prominent personalities. And incident involving national security. So kapag daw makakaapekto sa national security ng barangay or kahit ng Pilipinas, so yan, ginagawa natin ng incident report. Example, attacks on towns, barangays, or other populated areas, attacks on raids or military or police installation, raids of ambuscades of military troops or police, liquidations of government official, military, or police personnel, encounters with dissident terrorists, syndicates, or organized crime groups, terrorist incidents such as hijacking, hostage taking, and other crisis management situation, bombing or explosions, and mass actions. Another is mga jailbreaks or escape of prisoners or detainees or jail prison riots. So, yan, ginagawan din siya ng incident report. And then, arson cases or structural fires with estimated damage of 50,000 or more. Next is heinous crimes involving prominent people. The arrest or neutralizations of wanted personalities, the rescues of kidnapping abduction victims, or the recovery of the seizable amounts of contrabands. Next is robbery hold-up and perpetrated by syndicate or crime groups, election-related violations of laws, disasters or calamity, incident or relief and rescue operations, surrender of enemy personalities, notorious or wanted individuals, or recovery of seizable numbers of loose or unlicensed firearms, and land, water, and air mischief. So, yan yung mga incident na ginagawan ng reports. So, police blotter naman. So, police blotter, according to Soriano 2021, he defined police blotter as a record of daily events occurring within the territories of jurisdiction of a given police unit or command. It contains materials and details concerning the events and incident for legal statistical purpose. Police reports shall be record book bound with hardcover and shall be 12 inches by 16 in size. In front cover shall contain the name of the designation of the police force and particularly police districts, stations, together with the designation of the specific police units or substation, the volume of the book number and series number, and the period covered, and its format for entries includes a sheet of the police blotter shall be depicted. So itong police blotter, ito ay ginagamit sa station. So lahat ng mga incident, kapag merong mga nagpapa-blotter, merong mga incident na nangyari, inilalagay doon sa may tinatawag na police blotter. So ito ay book, parang book siya na parang yung record book, pero mas malaki siya doon. So ang size niya is 12 inches by 16. So yan yung police blotter. Excuse me lang. So next, So, meron tayong two types ng blotter, no? So, number one is the blue blotter. So, blue blotter contains the daily registry of all crime incident reports, officially summarize of arrest and other significant events reported in the police station. So, basta lahat ng mga incident na nare-report sa station, kunyari may mga nawalan ng, merong mga nawalan ng IDs, ganyan. Okay, lalo na kung mga special IDs yan. Or kaya naman, naghahanap ng tao, missing person, so nilalagay siya sa blotter. Kung may mga nag-aaway, ayan, dyan sa blue blotter nilalagay. Kapag pink blotter kasi, it is specific. So, kapag ang incident, no, ay contains violence against women and children, trafficking of a person, and other gender-based violences such as provided by the law, police and in the Philippine law. So, kapag mga related sa incident regarding sa mga babae or kaya naman sa mga bata, pink blotter. So, dun sa may mga women's deaths, dun siya inire-record. So, pink blotter. Next is CIRAS, or yung tinatawag na Crime Information Reporting and Analysis System. So, ito yung modern na blotter system. So, after kasi na isulat siya dun sa may blotter book, inire-record na din siya doon sa tinatawag na CIRAS. So, the PNP CIRAS is enhanced version of the existing e-blotter system. They will provide field commanders and decision makers comprehensive and timely crime data through the enhanced feature of crime mapping and crime clock generation. It is a web-based system that is being utilized by the police station nationwide. Serve as modern central database of the crime incident, provide crime trend analysis, statistical report, and crime hotspot along with other trends and patterns. Overlay the data sets, localities, area of responsibilities, critical facilities and structures, troop deployment and movement, etc. Provide status and dispositions of criminal case, and provide online crime data accessibility to all levels in the PNP organization. And very useful yung CIRAS, no, kasi maging updated kahit yung sa may Manila, yung pinaka headquarters, no, kasi dun na ilalagay yung mga reports na natatanggap ng stations sa buong Pilipinas. So, it is a central database nga. So, lahat ng mga datas, no, lahat ng mga reports na ginagawa or na re-report sa isang station ay dito nakalagay sa tinatawag nating CIRAS. So, next is memorandum. So, memorandum is an inter-office communication dealing with official matters in a police organization. Its message is written in a fewest possible words. A memorandum is for application requiring compliance or dissemination of information for the offices and members of the organization. In some cases, it is specific directed to an individuals or group of individuals in a specific performance of action. Police executives and subordinate officials may issue memorandum. The former may use it for administrative instructions, while the latter for advisory or information matters. So, yung mga memorandum, ito yung, kunyari may mga new policies, ganyan. So, dinadaan siya through memorandum. Di ba kahit sa school, meron din tayong ganyan eh. Kapag walang pasok, nagbababa ng memo, nagsasabi na walang pasok. So, yun yung memorandum. So, next, the word memorandum comes from the Latin verb memorandum est, the gerundative form for memoro, meaning it must be remembered. It is a note documenting or another communication that helps the memory by recording events or observation on the topic that may be used in any public or private agency. So, it is used to update, no, na para i-inform lahat ng members ng yung concerned members doon sa may mga, kunyari may update na batas, merong mga new policies. So, yan nga, memorandum. So, merong two types ng memorandum. Memorandum 2 kapag direct a message to a specific individuals, to department or groups. And memorandum form naman often used when the memo is intended for a superior or specific high-ranking officials or to document a purpose formally. So, kapag daw ang ginagamit na pag memorandum to, no, ina-address mo yung letter doon sa may mula sa higher pababa na mga trabahante, no? Or pwede din namang sa ka-level mo ng posisyon sa kunyari sa police station, yung yung mga katrabaho mo. Ayan, kapag naman memorandum for ginagamit naman to kapag yung memo ay para sa higher officers. So, kunyari ikaw, kunyari ikaw ay patrolman, no? Tapos yung letter mo ay i-address mo sa chief mo. Ayan, gagamit ka ng memorandum for. So, next is civilian letter. So, civilian letter, also known as business correspondence, is usually a communication from police officer or law enforcement agency addressed to the public or private agency or between the police organization and the end user of the police service and other external parties. The overall style of the letters depends on the relationship between the sender and the recipient. The term civilian refers to the person who is not member of the armed forces. Civilian letters are used when a law enforcer is communicating with the president of the country, the chief of staff, department secretaries, governors, mayors, managers, school heads, and the likes. So, ang civilian letter ay mga letters na ina-address natin ina-address sa mga tao na hindi member ng uniform personnel. Katulad nga kunyari kay mayor, ganyan, merong sasabihin yung station. So, gagawa sila ng civilian letter. So, there are different types ng civilian letter. So, number 1 is the invitation letter. So, an invitation letter is usually refers to the one securing speaker for an important occasion. It mentions the following: the date, time, and place of the speaking engagement. Topic 2, discuss the time limit and verification of acceptance. So, kunyari, sa isang event, no, merong ini-invite na magiging speaker. So, gagawa dapat ng invitation letter. So, sa invitation letter na yun, dapat nakalagay kung kailan yung event, ano yung date, ano yung time, saan, and then, syempre, ano yung topic na i-discuss, ano yung time limit, kung 1 hour lang ba siya, 30 minutes lang ba siya. So, kailangan naka-include yun dun sa invitation letter. And then, the verification of acceptance. So, after the investigation letter, meron ding invitation refusal. So, syempre, 'di ba, kapag in-invite ka, hindi naman din lagi kang makaka-attend. So, dito sa invitation refusal, between the invitation acceptance and an invitation refusal, the latter is more difficult to write. The writer therefore considered as guide the following points. So, kailangan appreciation of the invitation. So, kailangan unang sabihin mo muna dun sa may letter mo that you appreciate na ini-invite ka dun sa specific event. Bigay mo then yung reason mo bakit ka nagre-refuse, and then the possibility of accepting similar invitation in the future. So yan yung dapat na makikita sa invitation refusal. So, next is request letter. So, request letter, specific suggestion in writing a request letter. To speed the handling of the request, the writer should address his letter to a particular person or the department in the addressee if the addressee is known. The writer must have a clear mind as to what he wants to know, omitting to ask information that can be obtained from reference books or other sources and are readily available. The writer must express his gratitude by saying thank you, but not thank you in advance, which is presumptuous. And as this is a special favor, a stamped self-expressed envelope should be enclosed. So, request letter, Usually, ito naman kapag, kunyari, meron kang request dun sa may isang station, ganyan, gusto mong mapabilis yung process, ayan, gagawa ka ng request letter. So, yan. And usually, ito ay, ina-address siya sa specific person na, syempre, related dun sa, um, sa pagdadalan mo, kunyari, talaga ng sulat. Kunyari, secretary nung chief. Ayan. So, kailangan dun mo sa kanya i-address para mabilis na makarating yung letter doon sa may chief of police. So, next is recommendation letter. So, kapag ito naman, sa recommendation letter naman, kunyari, meron kang napipisil na bagong ipopromote na, na officers, ganyan. So, para mabilis na makapag-decide yung, yung nagre-recruit, no? Pwedeng through recommendation, merong tao na magre-recommend para tignan kung qualified ba yung tao na to doon sa may position. So, sometimes an employee asks for recommendation letter, morally oblige an employer's upon request and history of the following. So, the person of recommended, his history of employment, qualification, and skills as assessment of his personality, and final recommendation. So, usually ginagamit to kapag magre-recommend ka na kakilala mo na ipapasok mo sa isang trabaho. So, next is application letter. So, ito kapag nag-a-apply ka naman ng trabaho, di ba, kailangan mong gumawa ng application letter, which is naka-address doon sa may head ng station or kaya ng office. So, this letter may be written in an answer to an advertisement in a paper bulletin board. It may be written through a hint of friend or relative in a certain vacancy. As guide, here are the contents of the application letter. So source of information, saan mo ba nakita yung hiring, interest in particular position, ano ba yung ina-applyan mong position dun sa trabaho, personal qualification, ano ba yung mga certificates or ano ba yung mga experiences mo na sa trabaho, ano ba yung mga seminars na na-attendan mo, so pwede mo siyang isama dyan. Urgent reason for needing the position, ano yung dahilan mo, bakit ka nag-a-apply dun sa may trabaho. And then, assurance of respectable people or reference, sino ba yung mga makakapagpatunay na ikaw ay katiwa-tiwalang tao. And then, availability for personal interview. So, sabihin mo din doon kung kailan ka available, no? And then, ano yung mga contact numbers mo. So, application letter yan, gagamitin nyo yan kapag, nag-apply na rin kayo sa PNP. Ayan, so, kailangan meron kayong application letter. So, kahit saan naman trabaho, kailangan yan. So, next is condolence letter. So, usually, this letter depends on how well the sympathizer know the bereaved. But more often than not, the tone is personal in approach, sincere in condoling. To condole is to comfort. So, dito naman, kapag kunyari, meron kang gustong may namatay, tapos gusto mo makidalamhati, ayan, pwede mo siyang idaan through condolence letter. So, next is endorsement letter naman. So, endorsement letter is a legal term that refers to the signing of a document that allows for the legal transfer of negotiable from one party to another. It is also an attachment to a document that amends or adds to it. It is likewise defined as the act of giving approval or recommendation to something, usually in public manner. The formal communication document that the professionals use to show their support for a friend, colleague, students, or other acquaintance. It helps to persuade hiring managers and committees about decision regarding the subject of the letter. So, endorsement letter nga, kapag may ine-endorse ka, nakakilala mo, no? O kaya naman yung mga supervisors, kapag meron silang napipisil nga na possible na pwedeng i-promote, yan, pwede silang gumawa ng endorsement letter. So, yan. Next. Napindot ka na ba? Okay. So, nandito na tayo sa second part ng report writing or ng TRW2, yung tinatawag nating legal form. So, ito medyo, pa sa inyo to, medyo fresh pa sa mga utak nyo to kasi kakadiscuss ko lang sa inyo to nung nakaraan, nung last year, no? Nung ano kayo, last year nga, last semester pala. Yan, technical report writing legal form. So, ito yung mga affidavits, no? So, legal forms are prototype of an instrument to be employed in a legal transaction or judicial proceeding that includes the primary essential matters, appropriate technical phrase or terms, and any additional materials required to render it officially accurate, arranged in suitable and systematic order, the conducive to an adaptation to the circumstances of a particular case. This could be in a form of affidavits, sale of personal properties, contracts yun. Hindi ko pa rin nababago dito. And complaints. So, what are the guidelines in preparing legal form? So, first is the document size. So, kailangan daw ang gamit ay 8.5 by 13 or yung legal size coupon bond. However, there are some expectation to this rule. When paragraph 1, negotiable instrument, contracts, and special power of attorney, there is usually no prepared size. So, kapag daw ang ginagawa ay mga contracts or kaya naman SPA or mga negotiable, no? Wala naman daw sinusunod doon na sizes. Pero as a general rule, ang ginagamit ay legal size bond paper. And then the margin is 1.5, no? The customary practice for margin in a legal form is not less than 1 and 1/2 inch from both top and left side of the form. The right side of the form usually a smaller margin but close to the margin on the left and top side. Next is notarial seal. So it is impressed at the end of the document where the document ayaw nang mag-focus. Page or book number and series of the notarial seal are indicated. So, if the document consists of more than one page, the notarial seal must be impressed in every page thereof. So, kailangan daw laging merong notarial seal. And form for non-litigation form, so, ito yung form for non-litigation form, no, na-discuss ko na din noong nakaraan. Para lang makita kung meron bang existing na problema yung mga documents. So, kailangan ng form for non-litigation form. So, the declaration can be enumerated by using whereas, before as declaration, or by numbering each declaration. In using the whereas clause, the form must be ended with therefore clause. They start using the announcement known all by men, this present and end with in witness whereof. If the document needs to acknowledge the signature of the witness is required. So, next is affidavit. So, what is affidavit? An affidavit is a sworn statement made by a party in writing, made in the presence of the oath commissioner or notary public, which is used either in support of application to the court or as evidence in court proceeding. In the case of writ petitions, cases are generally disposed of an basis affidavit. So, affidavit, ito yung pinanunumpaan sa harap ng isang notary public, which is kailangan ding naka-notarize. So, what are the different legal forms? So, affidavit of arrest. So, generally filled out by an arresting officer and state that the facts of the arrest. The affidavit may and circumstances which led given under the observation made before and state such facts as information statement given under oath and penalty of perjury. It may also be referred to as an arrest report. So, ito yung affidavit na sinusulat ng arresting officer. So, ano ba yung facts regarding the arrest? So, yan yung makikita dyan. And then, ano yung mga circumstances and ano yung mga na-observe ng isang arresting officer. So, next is affidavit of witness, is a sworn statement, written statement of facts made by the witness, signed before a notary or another authorized officers and used as evidence in legal proceedings, similarly to a witness testimony in court but outside of court testimony. So, ito namang affidavit of witness, sinusulat siya ng witness. So, dito nakalagay kung ano yung mga na-witness nung tao during the time na kinukomit yung isang crime. So, kung nakita niya ba yung yung suspect, ano yung ginagawa nung suspect dun sa may victim. So, yun yung usual na nakalagay sa affidavit of witness. So, typically, kung ano yung mga nakita ng witness during the time na kinukomit yung crime. So, next is search warrant. So, search warrant is an order in writing issued in the name of the people of the Philippine Islands, signed by a judge or a justice of peace, and directed to a peace officer, commanding him or her to search a personal property and bring it before the court. So, search warrant naman, syempre, search, no? Ang hinahanap naman dito is yung mga gamit. So, pwedeng contraband, pwedeng unlicensed firearms, pwedeng basta yung kung ano yung ginamit sa pagko-commit ng crime. So, yan yung mga nakakita dun sa may search warrant. And syempre, no, nakalagay din dun sa may search warrant kung saan yung specific na lugar na hahalugugin. Ano yung address, no? So, kasama siya doon sa may document. Next is affidavit of desistance. So, is a written statement under oath by the complainant stating that he is no longer interested in pursuing the complaint or criminal case against another person. The complainant will no longer assist in prosecuting the another person by not giving either evidence or testimony. So, dito affidavit of desistance kapag ang isang complainant ayaw niya nang ituloy yung pagkakaso, no? Magpapayag siya ngayon ng affidavit of desistance wherein sinasabi niya na ayaw niya nang ituloy yung kaso, no, na hindi na siya magte-take part doon sa may case, and kung sakaling patawag siya, no, hindi na siya a-attend. So typically wini-withdraw niya na yung kanyang yung kanyang karapatan, or wini-withdraw niya na hindi na siya magte-take part doon sa may sa kaso. So, ganun. Next is affidavit of complaint is a sworn statement prepared by someone who wishes to file a legal complaint. Such statements are filed when people wishes to file suit against someone for violation of civil law, and they can also be involved in criminal cases when a victim files a formal complaint with the assistance of the law enforcement. So, dito naman, affidavit of complaint, kapag may irereklamo ka na tao, kung mayroon kang gusto ireklamo, so gagawa ka ng affidavit of complaint, kung saan nakalagay doon, ano yung reason mo, bakit ba nirereklamo mo yung isang tao na to, sino ba yung nirereklamo mo, so kailangan nakalagay doon yan. So, next is counter affidavit. So, it's a sworn statement submitted by a respondent to refute or deny allegation made in a complainant affidavit, allowing them to present their versions of events and evidence in a legal context, commonly during a preliminary investigation. So, counter affidavit, so after mag-file ng complaint ni complainant, so sasagot naman si respondent using the counter affidavit. So, dun sa may counter affidavit, nire-refute niya or dinedenay niya yung mga allegations na binabato sa kanya nung complainant. So, next is the reply affidavit. So, it is a legal document filed by the complainant or plaintiff to respond to and rebut allegation or defense raised in the respondent's or defendant's counter affidavit, presenting additional arguments or evidences. So, after nun, no, dininay na ni respondents, then pwede pa ring mag-reply or sumagot ulit si complainant using the reply affidavit, kung saan dito hinahabol niya lang kung ano yung mga kung meron ba siyang mga additional arguments or kung meron bang mga evidences na nakita para mapatunayan yung complaint niya. So, next is a rejoinder affidavit. So, rejoinder means an answer to a reply. The second reply by a responding party in adjudication in response to the reply by the referring party. A quick reply that is often sharp or witty in a legal term and referring to an dependent answer to plaintiff's legal action. So, after nun, 'di ba? Kanina merong complaint, sinagot ng counter, sinagot naman ng reply ulit ni complainant, and then yung rejoinder, no? Pwede ulit yang ito yung reply pa, or pwedeng gamitin pa as reply ng respondent. So, yan, rejoinder affidavit. So, pwedeng hindi na din umabot sa ganyan kasi dun pa lang sa may reply, pwede nang maputol yung usapan, no, ng dalawang nagrereklamuhan. So, pwede kasi magtuloy na siya dun sa may pinaka pagkakaso. So, kahit pwedeng hindi na umabot dun sa may rejoinder affidavit. So, next is affidavit of denial. So, an affidavit of denial may be submitted to clear one's name when there are other records bearing the same name with pending cases or derogatory information. So, affidavit of denial can be used kapag meron kang kapangalan sa NBI clearance na meron ding kaso. So, dito sa may affidavit of denial, dinedeny mo na ikaw at saka yung tao na meron existing na kaso ay different person. Okay? So, next is affidavit of undertaking. So, is a sworn legal document wherein an individual formally promised to fulfill a specific obligation or requirements often used to demonstrate compliance or assurance in a future action. So, affidavit of undertaking or dito naman, ginagamit to kapag gusto mo mag-promise sa isang bagay, kunyari sa utang, ganyan. So, pinapangako mo na magbabayad ka ng utang sa specific na araw na ito, kunyari sa June, magbabayad ka ng utang, ganyan. So, kailangan mo gumawa ng affidavit of undertakings para maging legal and binding yung usapan nyo nung isang tao. So, pwede din naman, kunyari, sa bahay, no? Kunyari may utang sa'yo yung isang tao. So, for the meantime, no, para makabayad siya sa utang, ganyan. So, pwedeng or yung sa may dun sa may kunyari sa may bahay, no, sa lupa, ganyan. So, for the meantime, papaupahan mo muna dun sa may tao. So, kailangan, meron ding affidavit of undertaking kung saan pinapromise nila na 2 years lang sila doon. After 2 years, aalis na sila, ganyan. So, ayun, pwedeng gamitan ng affidavit of undertaking. So, next is affidavit of loss is a document declaring the loss of a security, usually through theft or destruction. So, dito kapag nawalan ka ng mga important na documents, especially mga IDs, ganyan. So, kailangan mong mag-file ng affidavit of loss para kung sakali na magamit o kaya merong gumamit ng ID mo na nawawala. Para alam, no, alam ng sa station na nawawala yun. Like, kung sakaling merong gumawa ng crime using your ID, alam na nila na hindi ikaw yun. Okay, so pwede mo siyang magamit as evidence din in court. Kung sakaling nga na merong mga ganong incident, no, na frame up ka, nagamit yung ID mo, hindi naman ikaw talaga yun. So, pwede mong ipasa sa may korte yung affidavit of loss mo na in a certain time na ito, nawala yung ID mo. So, kung ano yung mga transactions na nagamit after that, possible na hindi na ikaw yun. So, makakalusot ka doon sa may case. And next is deposition of witness. So, part of pre-trial process includes getting statement from the individuals who are likely to be called to testify in court. So, para mapadali yung trial, no, nagkakaroon na lang ng deposition of witness kung saan kinukuha yung mga statements ng mga witnesses para malaman na agad ng korte kung ano ba yung mga sasabihin nila, and para hindi na sila ipatawag dun sa may mismong court. So, mapapabilis niya yung trial process kasi hindi nangyayari yung hindi pwede yung bigla ka na lang magpe-present ng evidence doon sa may korte without stating your statements during the pre-trial process. So, hindi kasi pwede yung mga surprise evidences, no, sa pinaka-trial. So, kailangan ma-present na lahat yung evidences during the pre-trial process So, dun yun sa nangyayari sa, kasama na dun yung deposition of witness. So, next is preliminary investigation. So, preliminary investigation is a crucial procedure step conducting by a prosecutor to determine if there are sufficient evidence to believe that a crime has been committed and the respondent is likely guilty, thus warranting a trial. So, preliminary investigation. So, before, at least 4 to 1 bago magkaroon ng preliminary investigation. And then, ang hinahanap is yung probable cause. Pero ngayon, mas strong na yung paghahanap ng, bago magkaroon ng preliminary investigation, kailangan 6 years na, 6 years and 1 day na yung kumbaga yung sa case, kailangan bago ka mag-undergo ng preliminary investigation, kailangan 6 years na, hindi na 4 to 1. And then hinahanap na is tawag dito, yung reasonable certainty for conviction. So, yan na yung hinahanap. So, next is motion for reconsideration. So, is a legal tool used in the Philippines to ask the same court the issues, a decisions or order to reconsider its ruling. Typically within a specific time frame by highlighting errors or facts of the law that may have led to the adverse outcome. So, motion for reconsideration, you are asking for the judge to reconsider his decision. Baka meron lang nagkaroon ng error, nagkaroon lang ng konting problema, or meron lang hindi napasang ebidensya. So, yon, pwede kang mag-ask for reconsideration doon sa may judge. And next is notice of appeal. So, it is a formal document that initiate the process of seeking a review of the court's decision by higher court, usually after a trial or hearing. And it must specify the parties, the judgment appeal, the court to which the appeal is taken, and the timelines of the appeal. So, notice of appeal, you are asking dun sa or nino-notify mo yung kalaban mo doon sa trial na iaakyat mo sa mas higher na court yung inyong kaso. So, yan, notice of appeal. Next is commitment order, so a written order that of the court or any agencies authorized by the law to issue it entrusting an inmate to a jail for the purpose of safekeeping during the pendency of his or her case. So, yung mga detainees, and then yung mga nag-undergo ng trial, kailangan bago sila ipasok sa kulungan, for their safekeeping is mayroon munang commitment order kung saan yung korte inuutusan yung jail officer na temporarily i-safekeep muna yung tao for the pendency of his case. So, next is special power of attorney. So, yung special power of attorney, ito ay isang document kung saan nagbibigay ng power yung isang tao to another person. Kunyari, yung mga tao nga na nasa ibang bansa, ganyan. Tapos, meron silang mga bibiling lupain dito sa Pilipinas. So, dahil wala sila, magtatalaga sila ngayon ng isang tao na kanilang pinagkakatiwalaan para mag-act on his behalf. So, dun sa may special power of attorney, nakalagay dun kung ano lang yung mga powers nila, yung limited powers nila na kunyari, pagpipirma lang ng documents, sa negotiation ng lupa. So, yun lang. Meron lang mga specific na power ang yung tinatalagang person para syempre maiwasan din yung pananamantala nung tao. So, kaya kailangan naka-specific lang kung ano yung mga powers na binibigay nung principal dun sa tao. So, next is affidavit of heirship. So, a legal document used to declare the legal heir of a someone who died. It is a legal document that makes it possible for the deceased asset to be transferred to the rightful owner. So, dito naman sa affidavit of heirship, kapag meron ipapamana, yung tao, kung kunyari, may namatay yung tatay, tapos meron siya ipapamana dun sa may anak niya. So, kailangan magkaroon ng affidavit of heirship kung saan sinasabi doon na legal na pinapamana yung kanyang mga ari-arian doon sa taong ito. So, next is deed of sale. So, deed of sale is a legal document that transfer ownership of the property or vehicle from seller to the buyer. It is also known as a deed of absolute sale. So, deed of sale, kapag bibili ka ng mga lupa, bibili ka ng sasakyan, kailangan make sure na meron siyang deed of sale. So, it can be proof kasi na hindi nakaw yung isang bagay. So, yan, kailangan ng deed of sale. And next is last will and testament. So, it is a legal document that communicates person's final wishes pertaining to their assets. It provides specific instructions about what to do with their possession. It will indicate whether the deceased leaves them to another person, a group, or wishes to donate them to the charity. So, last will and testament, ito usually sa mga mayayaman lang naman to no? So, nakalagay dun sa may last will and testament na kunyari yung bahay, pinapamana dun sa asawa, tapos yung company, pinapamana dun sa may mga anak. So, ito usually kung meron ka mga ari-arian na maiiwan. And then, dinidistribute mo siya dun sa may mga importanteng tao sa may buhay mo. So, yan, last will and testament. So, that's all for TRW 1 and 2. Thank you for listening.